Morning, everyone. I'm Mark Avalos, Globe Segment Head for Education, and welcome to the third episode of Escuela Season 2. So, I'm very excited today because there are a lot of announcements that will be coming from our very special guests. Uh, One of the things also po na kailangan nating malaman today is the updates na nangyayari sa Google for Education. So, another thing also that we are doing today would be giving away 20 slots of the eSkwela online training course as well as three winners of the 500 Gcash. And for those who are tuned in, please make sure that that you are registered so that you will have the chance to be sent the new material from Google, and at the same time, we'll be sending you out also your e-certificates. So, wag na natin patagalin, everyone. So, I want to introduce our guest for today. So, she is the education lead of Google for Education Philippines and the founder of GTech Guru. Um, she has been working with local companies since 2010, and she is an advocate for cloud. So most notably, she spearheaded the Islands of Cloud in the Cloud, a project with the Department of Education that gives schools across the country access to G Suite for education. So she's also acknowledged and certified by Google for Education as an innovator, trainer, and specialist for web-based learning. So our guest for today, I'm welcoming back Mary Ann Manzano. Hi, Mary.
Hello. Hi, Mark. I'm so happy that you said you're welcoming back. I really do love your Escuela series, and I'm so happy to be back here with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
So, Mary, before we start with the actual, with the actual discussion of today's topic, so your updates will be very helpful, of course, for our educators, for our students. I'd like to understand also, um, muna, what has been going on with you personally? Mukhang ano tayo mukhang very on the go pa rin.
I know I've been working from home like everyone else. I know that we're all on lockdown. But I guess like with self-care, alam mo naman dapat nating alagaan yung sarili natin palagi. And my mode of self-care is to still dress up and actually wear my heels every day when I go to work, even if my work is just in my living room. So it gives me kind of time to pause at the end of the day. So meron akong offline time to really unwind. So the change of clothes is like, okay, it signals the end of the day, even though I'm still in the same place.
Yeah, at saka last time nga parang sabi ko, last time Mary was here to discuss the affordances of Google for Education. So today we will be giving us an update in terms of what is the latest with Google for Education. So, are you ready, Mary? Please take it away.
Yes, I am. Okay, so as you know, at the time that I was here before, I discussed what Google Workspace for Education was all about. At that time, it was still called G Suite for Education. And so let's maybe share my slides first there. And yeah, so basically, what happened before was I was, again, a founder of GTech Guru, still am. And after that, I joined Google. So this year, that's what happened. I joined Google as the lead for education here. And that means I can help schools more than what I did before. And so if you have any questions about where Google is headed, and if you've heard any more updates about Google for Education, please feel free to comment or ask your questions. So what I'm here about is to bring the best of Google to education, what Google is so good at to help transform teaching and learning. So let's dive into that. Why do I say it? It's because it all started with search for us and the ability to access information. Alam niyo naman, when you hear the word Google, di ba, iniisip niyo lagi, I'm gonna Google that. I-Google mo lang. So it all started with search and the ability to access information, and the way in which people understand and apply that information can be really transformative. So not just for themselves, their communities, their schools, but the world. So it really makes information useful. So learning does that, which is why it sits across everything that we do. So you can see that in all of our applications, that learning really is sitting at everything that we do here. So we believe that everybody, no matter the background, kahit ano pang background mo, saan ka pa nanggaling, everybody deserves access to great learning experiences. So this ability to learn in the classroom, at home, ngayon, naka-at home tayo, and everywhere and in between, it has never been more important than today. Bakit? Kasi every person deserves the chance to fulfill their potential. Now more than ever, we find we are challenged, but we can rise to that challenge. And when a student has everything that they need to learn in a way that works for them, para sa kanila yon, powerful things can happen. Nakita na natin yon. Pag hindi masyadong masaya yung bata sa ginagamit niya, then hindi siya masyadong natututo. But when they like the tools that they're using, when they have everything that they need to learn, then transformative talaga siya. So when it comes to what the student needs to learn, it will really manually vary from student to student. But some fundamentals would kind of apply to everybody. Like for example, students need access to up-to-date curriculum content. Kailangan nila ng access to teachers who can guide and support their learning journey, and they need access to tools, to resources para masuportahan yung learning nila. So whether it's a screen reader para sa mga visually impaired, or video conferencing tools para sa ating distance learning, or even yung mga text-to-speech, ganyan, meron tayo noon. So, yun ang mga tools na pwede nating gamitin. And when the fundamental supports and tools for education are provided, what we've found is that these possibilities really open up. Blows up, and potential can finally be fulfilled. So, marami tayong mga examples around that. I still remember this example about one of the world's leading motivational speakers, si Les Brown. So he was born on the floor of an abandoned building, and he was labeled at the time as mentally handicapped during his primary school years. Yung twin brother niya was bright. And so Les earned the label as the dumb twin. But one teacher changed his life, gave him the confidence and the self-belief that anything was possible. And he worked hard since that moment to realize his goals and live the phrase that he's really famous for. And he's famous for the phrase, you have greatness within you. So, yun yung parang gusto nating i-inspire sa mga students natin. And how are we doing that? So, we know that learning, it happens everywhere, at school, at home, lalo na ngayon it's mostly at home. We know just how much is involved in making this happen, how many people are involved, how many resources are involved. So there are government and district leaders para sa ating mga public school teachers, public school personnel, and they're tasked with designing and delivering a curriculum that resonates with students while providing safe and well-resourced schools para sa mga students to attend each day. And as we all know, resourcing is really difficult. We also have our school leaders, mga principals natin right now. They're the ones making decisions about how a school is run, who need to stay abreast of the latest tools. So if you're a school principal, typically kasi sa atin, pag kunyari medyo umiedad na tayo, tapos umaakit na rin yung position natin, minsan nababawasan na rin yung drive natin to learn about the latest tools. Pero actually, the higher up you are in the organization as a school leader, you really have to stay on top of what the latest tools are to best support the curriculum that you deliver. Things like augmented reality, VR, robotics, and more. Next would be yung ating secret sauce, which is our teaching staff. No? Yung mga teachers natin, heroes talaga kayo kasi you don't only deliver the curriculum, you find ways to teach beyond what's in the textbooks to ignite passion, inspire creative thinking, kayo yun eh. And of course, ano pa yung isang sumusuporta sa mga bata would be the parents and the guardians who provide the home-based support the scaffolding, for school-based learning. Kasi without our parents and the guardians na nandun para sa mga estudyante natin habang naka-work from home and learn from home sila, mahihirapan din yung mga bata para matuto. Okay, so that's why in Google, our ongoing aim is to be helpful, to be able to provide technology and tools to support these ever evolving needs. So it's our driving goal to help educators transform teaching and learning for everyone. And that means providing a platform for each school to have the time, tools, and materials they need para makapag-create tayo ng impactful teaching and learning environments that are really right for every individual student. So, ito yung Google Workspace for Education, which I feel na kung naka-Google na kayo, you probably know this as G Suite for Education before. So last February, we rebranded because we wanted to be more representative as well of what we feel it's really all about. It is a workspace. It is where we are at. It's where we work, where we learn, where we teach, right? So what we want is to be able to empower educators with the means to create innovative and impactful teaching environments para makadrive tayo ng magagandang learning outcomes para sa mga estudyante natin kahit nasaan sila. So no matter who they are, where they are learning from, or what their individual goals might be, andun tayo para sumuporta and they already have these tools that they can use. Now, ano tong commitment na to? This commitment is like a 4E kind of structure for us. We want to enable every leader, to empower every educator, to evolve every day, and to equip every student. And later, papakita natin kung paano natin magagawa yun. So like I said, Google Workspace is now evolving to really be more of a partner for you and for your school, you as a teacher, you as a student, you as a parent or a guardian. We really want to be able to empower everybody to learn through our platforms. And in the Philippines, we now have one reference school. And this is a Google reference school. What is that all about? A Google reference school is a school that we highlight as a school that embodies what we believe or is how to use the Google tools, right? So there's schools that are using Chromebooks as well for their students, and they've been using Google Workspace for education in transformative ways. And this is the Apex Schools, which is the first and only Google reference school in the Philippines. So last December lang, we recently accredited and recognized them as the first and only Google reference school. And this status is awarded nga to schools that are using Google as the education tools that are creative, ganyan, creative sila sa paggamit nito, and innovative din. So that's an example. And you as well as a school, you can become the next Google reference school. So I'm really kind of right now asking you to really take a look at how are you using the tools that you currently have right now, because we in Google, we want to be able to bring the best to education, and that also means being able to provide every student and teacher with a personalized learning environment to design and deliver differentiated and engaging learning experiences via Google Workspace for Education and enhance and elevate class content. So, marami sa mga tao, inisip nila, ay, Google, pwede ako mag-Gmail. Pero hindi lang yon. So the breadth of the offering of Google for Education is really quite wide. So Chromebooks para sa mga devices, ano to? These are easy to use devices. And believe me when I say easy to use, because I've been using it exclusively as my primary machine for the last 9 years. For the last 9 years. Di pa siya uso na nag-Chromebook na ako. And at that time, parang, ano ba tong Chromebook? Pero ngayon, I just cannot imagine shifting to another machine, and not because I'm from Google, but because I really find the value in it. And even all my nieces and my nephews, when they were kids, nagkaagawan sila dun sa extra Chromebook ko kasi yun yung pinakamadaling gamitin. And para sa kanila, yung bubuksan nila and they can already start to work, wala nang troubleshooting, wala nang waiting. Importante sa mga bata yun ngayon, kailangan mabilis. The other thing is sa Google Workspace for Education, lahat nasa cloud. So one of the really exciting updates we're gonna have this year, abangan natin kasi later this year, we are going to be releasing Google Classroom offline for mobile. So what does it mean? Google Classroom is already available, but it's available online. That means you have to have internet access in order to access the assignments, diba? In order to access assignments and resources in your Google Classroom. So Google Classroom, para sa mga hindi nakakaalam, is actually a classroom management system, almost like an learning management system that where you can put resources, assign classwork, as well as manage the grades and easily grade your students and make them submit student work very easily. At marami pang iba, i-discuss ko mamaya kung ano yon. Now, the good thing about Google Classroom later this year is that it's gonna be available offline. Sa mobile muna, and maganda yun kasi dito sa Pilipinas, may tayo sa mobile phone. So it would be good for us to really take a look at how is Google for Education really helping us reach a wider audience also. And we want to be able to reach those na medyo hirap din sa data, di ba? Gusto mong makita yung mga lessons mo pero wala kang internet. So at least meron ng offline Google Classroom by later this year so that you'll be able to see it. For now, kailangan talaga ng internet for you to be able to access it. Next would be yung enhancing and elevating class content. So for those of you who still don't know, we actually have hubs that contain content. We have sites that contain content. Ano tong mga to? These are examples. Isa-isahin ko siya kasi I feel that each one of these have, sabihin na lang natin, special sila. And they have each their own special secret sauce din. So, first is CS first. Ano ba yung CS? Computer science. So, if you want to be able to teach coding skills or computational thinking to small children, like for example, to your grade 1, kaya nga CS first. So, grade 1 students, or even mga primary school students, you can take a look at the CS First program. So it already contains a curriculum with that you as a teacher can apply so that you can teach your lower grade students some coding skills. Yan. So madali lang siya. Sabi ko nga sa sarili ko na I took the CS First curriculum. Kung kaya akong turuan ito, ibig sabihin, maganda to. Kasi actually ganun yan eh. Like, the older you get, sometimes mas mahirap matuto ng mga bagong bagay. So sabi ko, okay, let's see if this thing can teach me, right? So the next one is teacher center. So for all of our teachers out there and even our senior leaders and our principals, we have a teacher center, which is available at teachercenter.withgoogle.com. I'll be sending you guys, I think Mark will be sending you a link to the presentation along with your e-certificate so that you can get a copy of the links as well as the material that I've been presenting today. So the Teacher Center is a hub for you to be able to get resources to train yourselves on how to integrate technology inside your classroom. So pag kunyari, bago kayo sa Google Workspace, ano ba tong Google Forms? Paano ba ako gagawa ng quiz using Google Forms? And itong Teacher Center na to will have really helpful tips for you at saka mga how-tos on how to use the tools well in the classroom, like applicable to education. So not just about using the tools, but really applying them in an educational setting. Ang maganda sa Teacher Center is it also includes certification. So that means if you want to get badged, di ba? Marami tayong certifications. Our certifications are, we have two certifications, the Certified Level 1 Educator and the Certified Level 2. Now, after those two certifications, you can then enter into our programs, wherein we have three programs, the Certified Trainer Program, the Certified Coach Program, and the Certified Innovator Program. And all of that will be in the Teacher Center. Meron siyang mga kanya-kanyang curriculum that are all open for you to learn from. So it's a MOOC as well. So that means you can learn in a self-paced manner. So next we have the Applied Digital Skills, which is a set of video lessons that you can take to apply certain things to things that you need to do in real life. For example, how to organize an event. What sort of tools do you need to be able to organize an event? How to create a compelling resume, Yung mga ganon. So these are already digital skills that you would apply in real world scenarios. So applied digital skills can both be applicable for your students and for yourselves. Kasi maganda to for continuing learning. So the curriculum there in applied digital skills is great because it is divided into all of these categories. Next is the Chromebook App Hub. The Chromebook is a machine that basically runs on the cloud. So that means the Chromebook App Hub is a list of applications. I'm pretty sure that you guys already know a lot of educational technology tools. This COVID crisis has given us kind of a glimpse at what we can do with technology nung wala na tayong choice, 'di ba? A lot of teachers, they were really reluctant to dive into technology, but as soon as COVID struck, a lot of people didn't have a choice and then found that there are so many tools that can actually help me do my work. And Chromebook App Hub has categorized these tools into helpful categories for you to be able to apply these tools across your different subjects. So maganda siya kasi it contains mga third-party applications and what you can use it for, right? And finally, at the foundation of all of it is internet safety. So we have a program called Be Internet Awesome that allows you to make sure that your kids are being safe, smart, kind, brave online, that they understand how to validate fake news from the correct ones, how to cite sources, how to avoid being scammed or phished, diba? So Be Internet Awesome teaches our kids to do that. We can even share that with parents and guardians para sila rin aware kung paano gagawin yung pagiging safe online. And since all of us are now online, 'di ba? We now have our e-meets, yung mga dati nating mga meetups nagiging e-meet na, 'di ba? Virtual na ngayon. And because virtual, more and more nangangailangan tayo nitong need na to na maging safe online. So ngayon, I have about 15 minutes left. And in these 15 minutes, I would like to discuss what happened with Google Workspace for Education. Dati kasi, we did have G Suite for Education. And nung nag-rebrand kami ng Google Workspace for Education, we introduced three new paid SKUs. So, as you know, Google Workspace for Education before, yung G Suite for Education is free. And we still have the free version. And we are now calling it Google Workspace for Education Fundamentals. So when you hear me talk about Education Fundamentals, ibig sabihin nun, ito yung free version ng Google Workspace. Ngayon, meron na tayong tatlong bagong versions para dun sa mga nangangailangan pa ng additional things on top of what they're getting in Education Fundamentals. So note that these paid SKUs, hindi ibig sabihin na meron na tayong paid SKUs, mawawala na yung free. There is still free and we're still updating it, we're still improving it, diba? A lot of schools are really benefiting from it. But if you want to kind of superpower your Google, supercharge your Google Workspace for Education, pwede mong tingnan tong mga paid SKUs na to. So I'm gonna dive right into these. So these are the new Google Workspace for Education paid editions that are available. Ano-ano ba to? So we're dividing it into three. The first one is Google Workspace for Education Standard or Education Standard for short. Para to sa mga admins natin na nangangailangan ng advanced security and analytics tools. Bakit niya kailangan ng ganun? Kasi sometimes meron tayong mga risks, we want to be able to mitigate threats, lalo na sometimes meron tayong mga bullying cases, phishing cases, scamming, spamming, and all of those things that we would like to kind of be able to mitigate because those are risks that our admins would have to combat. So education standard would help you by giving you a lot more tools to enforce policies, yung mga school policy natin, lalo na kung medyo stricto tayo sa school policy natin pag nasa loob ng eskwelahan. Paano pag distance learning? How do you actually manage that? How do you make that discipline management work? How do you make that policy management work? So education standard can help you with that. Now, if you're more inclined naman to understand ano ba yung mga bagong teaching and learning tools ni Google na pwede kong i-apply na parang ma-enhance ko pa yung engagement ko with my students, then we have something called the teaching and learning upgrade that would give you the enhanced educator tools. And this would help enrich your communication, class experiences, your video conferencing experiences would be enhanced, as well as guide academic integrity. Kasi meron tayo dito plagiarism checker. Ayan. So the next one would be Google Workspace for Education Plus. This is more comprehensive. It is containing all of the features of education standard and the teaching and learning upgrade combined plus more. So this is the most effective and unified learning environment for your school community. So ngayon, tingnan natin paano kaya natin 'to magagamit. Ano bang differences nito? Because I'm pretty sure that if you've used education fundamentals before or you're already on education fundamentals, then great, right? It would mean that you already know what is good about Google Workspace for Education. But what if itong mga to, bago pa lang to eh. So, ano bang meron sa kanila? So, let's take a look at a few ways to use Google Workspace for Education paid editions. I'm already giving you a copy of this and punong-puno to, so I will not be able to cover all of them. But please feel free to browse through this. When you get that email from Globe, because there's really so much that you can explore inside this deck. So dadaanan ko lang yung mga kailangan nating i-discuss kasi we just have about 10 minutes. It's always parang lagi tayong kulang mark sa oras pag nandito ako sa Globe. So first one would be the security and the analytics tools. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. Anong klaseng tools ba yung kailangan ko para maging secure? So the first one would be the investigation tools para i-investigate yung mga abuse, yung mga accidental sharing ng files, ganyan, yung mga phishing, tapos yung mga bad actors. So hindi yung iniisip yung bad actor this is different. So maybe mamaya tingnan natin ano ibig sabihin ng bad actor. And then we also have security dashboard. So the security dashboard would give you gaano ba karaming spam ang pumapasok, ilang files ba yung nakashare outside of my school na nakikita ng publiko, di ba? Ano-anong klaseng third-party applications kaya yung nakaka-access ng mga accounts sa loob ng eskwelahan ko, di ba? Next is security health. We want to be able to understand risk areas, to be able to get best practices from the world at large as well, to be able to stay up to date in security and security best practices. So ito yung parang part ng security and analytics tools where we in Google actually recommend it to you na parang look, this is what it looks like in your console right now. You might want to do this to make your environment more secure. So meron kami mga ganong updates and also recommendations. So next is the advanced admin control. So hindi lang admin, talagang super admin. Kasi what if, syempre lahat tayo, we have to comply with the DPA or the Data Privacy Act of 2012. And meron tayong mga regulatory requirements. So we need to make sure that we are up to par and we are also compliant with all of these regulatory requirements. Then that means kailangan naintindihan natin paano tayo mag-a-apply ng mga policy na yon sa loob ng ating mga accounts. Okay? So I'm just gonna breeze through this kasi gusto ko talagang makita niyo yung teaching and learning tools kasi this is really great. So for the teaching and learning tools, my favorite tool of all is called Originality Reports. So ano yung Originality Reports? As evidence from the name, original ba talaga yung ginawa ng bata? Yung sinubmit niya ba na essay, siya ba talaga nagsulat nun? O kinopy-paste niya lang sa Wikipedia? Right? So typically, dahil online na yung mga bata ngayon, tendency nila would be magka-copy-paste na lang ako ng something online. And Originality Reports would actually get that. And what it does, it will get that learning and it will scan the web for things that our students are copying. And then it will give you, as a teacher, a percentage of how much is plagiarized in that document. Okay? So note na kapag naka-education fundamentals kayo, if you're on the free tier or the free version, meron kayong originality report. So kung hindi nyo pa ito natatry before, all you have to do is to go to Google Classroom and mag-assign kayo ng isang assignment. And dun sa assignment, on the sidebar on the right, makikita nyo dun, pwede nyo i-scan for originality reports. What it means is, pwede niya na ngayong i-check yung gawa ng bata for originality. Now, ano yung difference nun, nung education fundamentals at saka yung sa teaching and learning upgrade and education plus? The difference is, may limit kayo sa education fundamentals. So on the free tier, we are allowing you to run up to 5 originality reports, so or up to 5 run it in 5 assignments, sorry. Run the originality reports in 5 assignments per class. So kung meron kayong 10 klase, you'll be able to run the originality reports up to 5 in 5 assignments per class. So mga 50 times. Yun. Meron kayong limit. Pero wala kayong limit sa teaching and learning upgrade and sa education plus. So ano pa yung maganda dito? Ang additional dito is that in the teaching and learning upgrades and education plus, you can scan for plagiarism not just on the web but also for peer-to-peer. Ito yung kunyari meron tayong bata na yung ate niya nag-aral din sa same school na yun last year. Nag-submit yung ate niya ng essay. Tapos ngayong taon na to, inassign sa kanya yung same essay assignment na yun. So sinabi niya sa ate niya, ate, pwede ko bang kunin na lang yung essay mo kasi ayoko na mag-isip. So, copying ko na lang yung essay mo. Total, hindi naman siguro yun ma-recognize. If that essay was stored somewhere in their shared drive, then you can actually direct originality reports to scan for student-to-student work or peer-to-peer so that you can see kung ito bang ginawa ng bata, kinopya niya from another student. Even not just from the student dun sa klase niya, pero student from the past class. So possible yan through originality reports. Next is we have Google Meet. There. So Google Meet naman, I know that all of you already have your own Google Meets and you're probably very well versed on how to use your video conferencing tools right now. I know that it's very pervasive and we are now using many different video conferencing tools. So Google Workspace for Education has its own and it's called Google Meet and it's free for education fundamentals for up to 100 participants at a time. So in the teaching and learning upgrade, ang difference nun, tsaka education plus, you can have up to 250 participants at a time. And you'd also have additional stuff like increased video conferencing security, recording of the lessons, recording your faculty meetings, understanding how to breakout rooms as well. We have breakout rooms there, gathering input through polling. You can ask questions through a Q&A tool. And you can also track attendance. Bakit kailangan yung tracking ng attendance? Kasi meron ako mga nakitang classrooms where pumasok yung bata, tapos nag-may I go out lang. After 10 minutes, hindi na bumalik. So the attendance tracker will actually be able to tell you a report that tells you how many minutes did that student really stay in your synchronous class. Okay? Next is, of course, being able to live stream your meetings, your announcements, your school events within your domain. Hindi po ito lalabas from your school. Sa loob lang ng school, pwede kayong mag-live stream sa loob ng school, especially pag meron kayong mga events. Lalo na ngayon, meron tayong mga e-graduation, etc. Diba? So those things, we can actually live stream those events as well. Okay? Now, I know that I can dive a little deeper. So I'm just, sa sobrang dami nito, guys, there's about maybe after this table there's going to be about 30-40 slides left just to be able to show you bawat isa kung paano ito nangyayari. So, I'm gonna dive into originality reports because again, this is one of my most favorite. So, bawat isa dito sa mga slides na to, like I said, meron kayong copy nito pagkatapos, meron kayong step by step or how to. So, please make sure na parang gamitin nyo to as a resource. Like, totally use this as a resource because you will be able to see how to be able to scan for plagiarism. If you still don't know how to do it, then this would teach you how to. Tapos meron ditong turn plagiarism detection into a learning opportunity. Kunyari na-detect mo na nag-plagiarize yung bata. How do you turn that into a learning opportunity? So, note that ang kagandahan kasi nito, this would give you the opportunity to give the student a chance to learn, diba? To correct their mistakes, to turn in their schoolwork with confidence, and definitely to cite sources, to give them the value of giving credit where credit is due, diba? At the end of the day, if I'm a teacher, I want to provide my students with the ability to check their work for plagiarism and turn cheating detection into a learning opportunity. Hindi siya basta, gusto kong malaman kung nag-cheat ka. It's not about that. It's about teaching the value of, okay, I made a mistake, I didn't cite my source, o now I can cite it. Hindi naman masamang mangopya on the web as long as you can cite that this entire paragraph, I copied it from this website. As long as you're able to do that, then that means it's a learning opportunity for you. You're citing your sources, and that's good. And all of us who went through creating a thesis, diba, alam natin yan. We need to be able to cite our resources. Ayan. Meron pa tayong mga iba pa dito. Like, for example, we have, let me go to um, gathering input and Q&A. So we also have, like I said kanina, we do have Q&A. And for this one, ito yung problem natin. No? I need a quick way to post questions, measure student knowledge, and interact with their class to keep them engaged. Kasi as a teacher, ang hirap, di ba? Lalo na sa synchronous classes natin. You need a quick way to be able to post your questions. And Google Meet now has the ability to do that. And paano niya yun ginagawa? So it does it this way. So in the meeting, in the top right corner, meron kayo dyang activities icon. And the activities icon, just turn on Q&A. And pwede na kayong mag-solicit ng question. So to ask a question, just click ask a question. And then you can answer these questions as you go along into your synchronous class. Now, more than that though, there's also gathering input from them. Like, for example, if I want to be able to gather input from my students and other educators while I'm leading a class or a staff meeting, ilan ba sa inyo ang naniniwala na ganito? Diba? You can actually conduct polls. So, pwede kayo mag-conduct ng poll, like, which of the following is not a noble gas? So, from the Google Meet itself, papasok yung parang mini quiz nyo doon. Pwede kayong mag-multiple choice quiz inside that synchronous meeting. At marami pang iba. As I said earlier, this whole thing is full of these how-tos, and I'm leaving this with you guys as a resource because we only have 40 minutes for this session. We can talk all day and talk about all of these updates that you can actually enjoy and enjoy with our Google Workspace for Education. That's it for me for now. And I really would like to thank you for attending. And I know that you might have some questions. So back over to you, Mark.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, so let's start with the updates first because a lot of teachers are asking about the latest updates. Will this change though the storage? Because remember, in the Google for Education or G Suite for Education free version,
Mhm.
right? Which is now called the Fundamentals, Google Workspace for Education Fundamentals. Do they have the same storage size?
For the meantime, just to let everybody know, we are not yet changing the storage. So, but we will be doing it. we are giving people plenty of time to understand how they're actually using storage. And why are we doing this? We are currently at unlimited storage, right? For our education fundamentals and for all of our other editions. We're currently unlimited storage. Now, what happens when you're unlimited? You don't care to manage your storage when you're unlimited. Tama. You just dump everything there, regardless of whether it's needed or not needed. You don't do any management at all. And honestly, we want to be able to get people to manage more. Why? The reasoning for that is we grew so much last year. So many people went and added themselves as part of our community, and we went from 40 million Google Classroom users to 150 million classroom users. You can just imagine the amount of data that we have to process on a daily basis, the amount of storage that is actually eating up our servers. So, as a rule, we're good with actually offering a lot of storage, but it can also be unsustainable for us, and we want to keep everything to be free. So, in order for that to be free, we are going to be limiting our storage by next year. So, that's going to be July 2022. So, wag pa magpanic kasi it's not yet happening. And we are also going to be releasing granular admin tools so that your admins will be able to understand who is actually using this storage. Believe me, there have been many cases of abuse where some of our domains have been used to store, um, files, abusive files, or files that should not be stored in a school domain. So you all know what those are.
Totally get it.
So minsan meron kaming na-review na parang nag-over siya dun sa limit and parang tinignan niya who's actually doing it, and they found that it was only one person. So that over the limit, um, a few, parang hundreds of terabytes being used up by only one person. And it's because they've got so many of these files. Parang ginamit na talaga nila yung Google Drive as a place to store all sorts of, some of them are even illegal files. So these things we want to be able to prevent, like moving forward. So what we're trying to do here is first making sure that everybody still gets the free tier. Yun number one yun. And next is to make sure that we also become responsible users of our own data, di ba? Some of our data don't need to reside there for 10 years. Honestly, binubuksan niyo pa ba yun? Yun ang tanong. Kailangan niyo pa
Exactly.
ba?
Well, I think this is a major problem then, no? For most of our, not only for our teachers but also for our students, because yun nga, as you mentioned, there's some data na hindi na natin kailangan, tas naka-store pa siya sa drive and it eats up. And some of those data are mostly personal. So again,
Basta,
guys, like that's why it's called Google. Yeah, Google.
oo.
Google for education has to be for education lang. So let's remind
Correct.
everyone that for education purposes lang. Another question here. Parang how's Google for Education different from the actual enterprise G Suite or Google Workspace?
It's actually
May
different in
pagkakaiba
that
daw ba?
meron. Maraming pagkakaiba. So first would be the storage. By next year would be different. And even now, when you buy a Google Workspace Essentials, di ba, yung mga starter, ganyan, for your business, you already have a cap. So as you can see, sa business may cap na tayo na 30 GB, di ba? So in the education space at the moment, walang
Per
cap
user,
on the
it's per
storage.
user, right?
Per user yun.
30
Oo,
GB per user, Mary,
per
right?
user. So, and para sa mga gumagamit ng workspace na sa business, malaki yung 30 GB ah. Hindi biro-birong storage yon,
Mm,
malakihan yon. There's like so many that you can store with that.
mm,
So that's why we are gonna be giving 100 TB per school. And then we will be adding more kapag medyo malaki-laki talaga yung eskwelahan. We'll be adding more as and when needed. And of course, if you're on the paid edition, you get additional pa. So if you're on the teaching and learning upgrade, you get 100 GB per teaching and learning upgrade license. And then dun naman sa Education Plus, because that is licensed per student, currently it's licensed at $5 per student. Magkano yun sa pesos? 250 pesos.
50, 250. Yeah.
Oo, per year na po yun, hindi po yun per month. for the entire year na 250 pesos, and that would give you additional 20 GB per student that you license on top of that, pero pooled yung storage. So more information will be
Very
coming as we go through this. Yes.
Yeah. Another question here. Can customers or can we customers remove or separate certain features from the editions? So kunwari
Uh,
full na siya and they already have the ano. Is that possible?
what do you mean?
Sorry, ang dami nilang mga
Yung bang apps yung sinasabi
parang
mo o yung
yeah, like features of each particular SKU. 'Di ba we have the fundamentals, tapos we want to do the upgrade, 'di ba? Parang they have 'di ba there are specific applications or features from that particular SKU no that you want to add to the fundamental. So is it possible ba to turn off or buy a la carte features? Like I don't want Socratic, so I'm just gonna remove that. I
so
want
but- I get you. Here's the thing, no, that there's a reason why it used to be called G Suite because it was, and is a suite of tools. And currently, if you
mm,
have not been exploring it, if you've only been using Gmail, you're totally missing out. Why? Because there's just way too many tools there. There are currently over 50 tools, actually almost 60 tools there that are being used right now. Not all of them will be used, of course, but it's there. So the admin, ito yung maganda sa Google Workspace for Education, you actually have an admin that can administer the policy and turn on and off services depende sa role nila. Example, what if nag-exam and ayaw mo magkaroon ng chat yung mga students mo kasi baka mamaya chat nila yung each other the answer, di ba? What if you don't want that? You can turn that off for the students, but it's still on for the teachers and for the staff. So you can actually make it like that, like per group of users in your organization. You can turn on or off certain applications, but you actually get it as a whole, and then you just manage the rights inside your own org. Ganon.
thank you, Mary. Nako, ito pa. Ito pa yung ano. Can customers trial a paid edition before they buy? So, I'm not sure about this because what I understand is Google for Education is free, the fundamentals, right? G Suite, G Suite for Education before, now Google Workspace for Education fundamentals, it's free. We give it out for free. But what if a customer wants to try something na paid edition? Is that
Yeah.
possible?
Yes, definitely. You can actually do a trial of Education Plus. Just right now, I like that Globe is actually carrying this, and you can just go ahead and speak with your Globe representative for that. That's handling your school right now because this is something that you can try out. So you just talk to them about how long the trial is going to be, so they'll be able to give you more details around it. But yes, a trial is possible so that you can give it a go. Okay.
Thank you, Mary. Mary, you were saying about training last time.
Mm-mm.
Um, because Globe is a partner, and I'm kind of excited to talk about this more in next week when we do our meeting. But in terms of like training, so for those who want to be certified by Google, is there something that we need to know? Is there something that you want to share with us?
Yes, definitely. So folks, if you don't know it yet, we do have certification programs in Google, and we have partners that can do those trainings for you, deliver the basic training necessary for your teachers and your students to get up to speed on using the Google Workspace for Education and take it beyond. When I say beyond, syempre, understanding certification for you to be able to create educators inside your own school that will also be able to take it forward next time. So yung mga certified teachers na to, sa loob ng eskwelahan nyo, sila yung po pwedeng magturo sa inyo ng more Google tools next time. And it can actually open up so many doors for you. So like I said, Mark, right now we have actually, yun nga yung maganda, we are partnered with Globe already on so many things. And of course, Globe is, I know, offering training as well. Tama, for those that are on or that are currently purchasing the paid editions of Google Workspace for Education. That could be an additional thing for you. Kasi, in my opinion, parang useless yung technology pag hindi mo talaga alam gamitin. And useless din yung technology kung walang proper pedagogical foundation.
Right.
So for me, pag maayos yung pedagogy, walang problema. Pag yung technology na lang yung idadagdag mo, and Google Workspace can definitely fit that bill. So ang maganda
True.
doon, meron pa kayong additional pa na PD, meron pa kayong professional development na mangyayari pagkatapos. Talagang it will catalyze it, di ba? O, ito na yung pedagogy ko, ito na yung tools ko, ito na yung paano ko gamitin ngayon. So, yun yun.
Thank you, Mary. I'm very excited to partner with our new customers, with our new school partners in the Philippines. Ito pa, last two questions before we say goodbye, Mary. How secure is Google daw as a collaboration tool for their school? Because again, there's a lot of options out there. But again, if it's Google, of course, I understand that you're very, very tight when it comes to security. Like, can you tell me more about this? And can you tell our audience more about this?
Of course, like we are very, very secure. As you know, our data centers, you cannot even visit. Like I know some people that have been with Google for a very long time was never seen the inside of a data center because they have no business being there. So there, we have a lot of security measures. We have a full on hundreds of pages of white paper and all the cloud certifications necessary to make sure that we are actually compliant with all of the global certifications as well as privacy certifications, including GDPR, to make sure that your data is protected. Another thing is, it's Google. We were born in the cloud, right? We were born in the cloud. So at the end of the day, Google actually welcomes developers and even ethical hackers who would like to kind of try to get into Google systems, and Google pays them, to be able to do that. And currently, wala pa eh. If I was a programmer, siguro if I was an ethical hacker, I would try and maybe find a bug and yung mga importanteng bug na yon para to make us more secure. We actually invite people, go ahead and hack us. We will pay you. So we can, we challenge other people. And for now, wala eh. We are extremely secure. We even make our own stuff. So, like I said, if you want more information about that, a lot of the security information is in the slides that I was presenting earlier. Meron dong isang buong chunk just on security. So you might want to
And we
review
will
that.
be getting a copy of those slides, di ba? So
Yes,
together with their
yes.
e-certificates, sa lahat po ng nanonood, for to all our viewers, please make sure that you have registered so that you'll get a copy of the e-certificate and the material that Mary presented. And I understand also, Mary, in terms of data privacy, di ba? Parang Google collects all these data to improve user experience, di ba? In terms of your systems and in your programs, we have to make sure also that there's feedback also in terms of your hardware, the mobile network, all those things that they collect from that Google collects from the user itself, from the students to the teachers to the actual users of the platform. They use this to improve the platform itself,
Yeah,
right?
it's never used for ads. So just to let you know, guys, especially for Google Workspace for Education, ads are completely disabled. So there's no way that you can actually use that information for ads. And by the way, the data is not Google's; it's yours. At the end of the day, it's yours. And if you want to take it out at any point in time, you can because it's still yours. It's your data.
Right. So I guess that's the end of our episode for today. Mary, again, so much maraming salamat. For I know that you have been up since 1:45 a.m. and thank you for gracing this episode of Eskwela for the second time. And thank you Google for letting us experience and letting us know about the new upgrades and about the new branding for Google Workspace for Education. Mary, any last words to our educators out there who are still in the middle of this crisis, grappling, and some of them are even like exploring other technology um, options for their classes. So take it away.
Okay, so for me, this is a message that I've always been giving to teachers. Before the pandemic, we were kind of just dipping our toes in the technology pool. We were trying it out. And then we found out during the pandemic that we were pushed into the pool. And now we didn't have a choice but to sink or to swim. And we found out that we can actually swim. So my last message to you is just don't be afraid to try new technologies because it's not gonna eat you guys. Just be clicky, click on things. You don't have to be techie. Click on things to try them out. Capture the curiosity that your students already have, and that will take you through this crisis with flying colors. Yeah.
Thank you, Mary. Maraming salamat ulit sa pagsama sa akin ngayon. At
Thank you.
sana meron pang kasunod. I'll see you very soon. So to our viewers, let me announce first our winners, our three winners of 500 Gcash credits. Of course, galing po ito sa amin sa Globe for Education. So you're the winners for our 500 Gcash credits, right? And then we also have drawn um, 20 winners of eSkwela online training slots. So we have here our self-paced online training course for these winners. So we will be contacting you about your details, and then please make sure that you coordinate with us so that you'll be also enrolled in the platform. So maraming salamat po ulit. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in today. And we will see you again next month for another tech update from Globe Education. And please make sure that you are subscribed to Globe My Business, to Globe, and to our channel, to all our channels, so that you'll be able to will be able to update you with the latest happenings in the industry. So again, this is Mark Abalos, segmented for education. Signing off. See you again next month.